Smile. You're on Facebook camera.
Ow. Rocco wants to be on camera so bad. He's down here just hanging out. Oh. Hey.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
I feel like Matt sets me up to just really suck at
How do I
this.
set you up to suck at all?
Because I'm hammered now.
I didn't do that. I didn't do
did.
that. That wasn't.
I did.
That was not something I did.
That was something I did.
Yeah. Listen.
But you know what? I like this. I like when we come over. When you come over and we have a couple drinks and we read some stuff. Welcome to Meat Sweats Reads. I have my glasses on, so obviously I'm reading today.
Meat Sweats, the audiobook.
Yep. Today we are consulting Neil Gaiman and his Norse mythology.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to pronounce these words.
And today we're starting with the treasures of the gods.
Ooh! I hope this is their weapons.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I like weapons.
Hold on a second. Before we get started, I have an idea.
Okay.
So I think in September, the Assassin's Creed Viking game is coming out.
Fun.
I think I'm going to stream it. I think I'm going to play it on my computer and stream it. I think I'm going to fucking put my Viking horns on.
Perfect.
And just fucking get wild.
That's a great idea.
You think that's a good idea?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think I have like most of the equipment now that I could probably pull it off.
Do you have that? You have the Q8? You have that camera? You can have that.
I don't have a camera.
You can have the Q8.
Okay. Perfect. You're a sweet boy.
You're welcome.
I got a mic. I got a green screen.
Perfect.
I've got a little mixer.
Oh, you're even thinking of doing it like green screen style, huh?
Yeah, you got to put something behind you. Yeah.
Okay.
I've watched enough streams where I know like what it should look like.
Well, you can do it where you're just a little box down.
Yeah. I'll figure it out. I put myself on a green screen and do it that way. I'll figure it out.
Here's the thing.
This means I'm going to buy it on my computer, though, and not on my Xbox.
Just a note to everybody thinking of fucking with a green screen. They take a lot of playing with your lights, and they take more in post to deal with than just something else. So just something to think about if you're getting into making videos. Green screens do require some lighting knowledge, and they require more work in post and are just kind of, they're a little bit harder, higher level, you know? So
yeah,
do your research and let's
dicks and butts. Dicks and butts.
Go consult episode 50 of Meat Sweats.
What happened in episode 50 of Meat Sweats?
And we did mushrooms, and I had us on a 20-foot green screen that I didn't light well.
Oh, yeah?
So go see what that looks like.
What's it look like?
Shit.
I bet it looked pretty to us at the time.
You know what? Everything looked pretty that day.
It was such a pretty day.
It was a great day.
That was, I'm going to say this right now, that was legitimately one of the best days of my life.
Best drug intros ever. Because you never had done mushrooms.
I had never done mushrooms. No, that was the first time. And it was the most magical experience I'd ever had. I was blown away by how beautiful the world was. I mean, that was my overriding thought through all of it, was like, I look at all this negative shit all the time. I look at all the ugly things, but how often do I notice how beautiful everything was? And that day, like, was the perfect storm, because that storm started out back, and then the sky was just like a 360-degree view of just darkness on one side, and
there's
then
a lot
all
of colors happening.
So many colors.
You
oh my
don't
God.
know how many colors exist.
There's so many colors
in the world until you take mushrooms.
It's true.
And then you're just like, holy shit, I understand tie-dye.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense a lot.
I mean, it's not wrong. Yeah, that was a really great day.
It's a great day.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah.
I was going to say another people that did hallucinogenic drugs.
Oh, yeah?
Were the Norse.
Fuck yeah. So it's in my blood, is what you're
at
saying.
various times.
So you're saying that's why I vibe so well with it.
Yeah.
Because it's part of my DNA.
One of the supposed Viking traditions of the berserker.
The berserkers, yeah.
Vikings.
Yeah.
Was they would take the Amanita muscaria mushroom.
Yeah.
Which is like the red and white cap, big fucking mushroom caps. That are like just laced into our pop culture everywhere.
Right.
With Super Mario and like Mario's mushroom is essentially like Mario's like power up mushroom is essentially an Amanita muscaria. The berserk. So the way you get high off of this shit, apparently, actually, I mean, I've never gone the second step. I've taken Amanita muscaria, along with a bunch of like other like natural herbal shit.
Okay.
And had like a little high and then a headache.
Okay.
But what you're supposed to do is take the Amanita muscaria and then drink your urine.
Oh.
But that was what the berserkers would take before a battle was historically Amanita muscaria. And if I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on this one.
Well, hopefully they go through it in the book here.
Yeah. They don't.
Damn it.
They don't talk about
They don't talk about...
It's like the Hindus, like they reference soma, which is like this crazy psychedelic drug of the ancient Indian culture.
Yeah.
But they never tell you what the fuck it is.
Right.
So then you're just like, oh, what the fuck is soma? And I mean, to the point of there are soma is such a legendary drug that there's fucking drug companies today that have called their muscle relaxers soma.
I know, I've taken them.
Yeah.
I've chewed some up.
Yep. So
I've taken handfuls at a time.
It's a weird world we live in. All right, the treasures of the gods. Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know how to do this.
Yeah, you just read the words that are on the page, Bill.
All right. Thor's wife was the beautiful Sif. She was of the Aesir. Thor loved her for herself and for her blue eyes, her pale skin, her red lips, her smile.
And her big titties. And those big old Nordic titties.
And he loved her long hair, the color of the field of barley at the end of summer.
Barley?
The color of a field of barley at the end of a summer. Good job.
Thank you.
I don't know that I need those to read. I just need to hold the page close.
You want to read another chapter of In the Name of the Wind?
No.
You want to just do that instead?
No. Stop it.
I can tell you about the Chandrian.
I wanna read.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how, but I'm trying. Okay? This is Hooked on Phonics for a 32-year-old.
Shit.
Thor woke.
He woke next to them big old titties.
And he woke and stared at the sleeping Sif's titties.
Titties.
He scratched his beard. You have no idea. Do you know how hard it is to read drunk? Does anybody know how hard it is to read drunk?
I do know how hard it is to read drunk because often I get drunk and I'm like, I'm going to read this book. And then I stop because I can't read it.
All right. Thor woke and stared at the sleeping Sif. He scratched his beard. Then he tapped his wife with his huge hand. What happened to you, he asked. She opened her eyes, the color of a summer sky. What are you talking about, she asked. And then she moved her head and looked puzzled. Her fingers reached up her bare pink scalp. What? Bare pink scalp. And touched it, exploring the... Her fingers reached up to her bare pink scalp and touched it, exploring it tentatively. She looked at Thor. horrified. My hair. Oh, man. That tripped me out, too. Thor nodded. It's gone. He has left you bald. He? Asked Sif. Thor said nothing. He strapped on his belt of power.
Fuck yeah, he's got a belt of power.
I want a belt of power. Oh, here's the word. Menningjord with...
Hold on. Meathology. I mean, that was pretty good.
Menningjord. I fucking hit that one.
Yeah.
I hit that one good.
Yeah, you did a pretty good job.
Yeah. Which doubled his enormous strength. Loki, he said. Loki has done this.
Fucking Loki.
Fucking cunt.
Fucking Loki. You little trickster. You little trickster with your tricks.
All right. Why do you say that? Said Sif, touching her bald head frantically, as if the fluttering touch of her fingers would make her hair return. Because, said Thor, when something goes wrong, the first thing I always think is, it's Loki's fault. It saves a lot of time.
That's good.
Thor found Loki's door locked, so he pushed through it, leaving it in pieces. He picked Loki up and said only, "Why? Why what?" Loki's face was a picture of perfect innocence. Sif's hair, my wife's golden hair, it was so beautiful. Why did you cut it off? 100 expressions chased each other across Loki's face. Cunning, shiftiness, truculence, and confusion. Thor shook Loki hard. Loki looked down and did his best to appear ashamed. It was funny. I was drunk.
It's a pretty good prank.
All right, I will admit, I have shaved someone's dog.
Their dog?
I shaved only one leg of their dog. It was like a Lhasa Apso.
Okay.
And I just shaved his, because he was a cunt of a dog.
Okay.
And I just shaved his one leg.
Yeah.
At a party.
Yeah.
And then never told anybody.
Yeah. Did you?
It was just the great mystery of who shaved Richard's leg.
Did you get to listen to everybody?
Yeah.
That is pretty fun. That is a good time. It
was hysterical.
I'm proud of you that you kept that to yourself.
Oh yeah.
That's fantastic.
I told one person.
Was the guy pissed or?
Yeah, he wasn't. He thought it was funny,
Okay.
but she was. And
The dog was pissed?
No, she being his girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
Whose dog it was.
Oh, okay.
And that's who I was going to offend. Like, that's who I was trying to make upset.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
she was just such a cunt. And her dog was the worst.
Yeah.
Worst dog ever.
Yeah.
Just fucking let it sit there and yip and bark and whatever. I feel Loki in this one. Thor, you should have sterner with your wife. Obviously, she was pissing in Loki's clothes. Like this little fucker was doing to me. So I shaved his leg. And then I didn't tell anybody. And then she was just like, all right, Richard's staying in our condo always. He's not allowed to go in the rest of the house. And I was like, that's
Perfect.
what needs to happen.
Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished.
I don't want to tell you how we got rid of the goldfish.
Did you flush the goldfish?
No, a guy tried to put one up his ass.
A guy tried to put a goldfish up his ass.
Yep.
Was he successful?
No.
Did he crush it?
No, we wouldn't let him. But he was trying.
He was trying to crush it?
He was trying to grab it out of the tank.
Oh, okay.
To put it up his ass.
And then it just died? Cause...
No, then she was like, okay, I'll take the fish to my house.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, at least the goldfish didn't die. I thought you were killing goldfish here, too.
Thank you, Matt Lowry.
Yeah. I was hanging out with these guys, and they had all these girlfriends. Like, they all went to high school together, and there was a group of guy friends, girlfriends. I met the guy friends through something else. But they would do like these wars where they would steal shit from each other's house. They'd like go hang at each other's house, and then they would just like when they decided it was time to leave, they would grab a bunch of shit and run out the door. And so I happened to be with them when they were at the girl's house, and they decided to do this. And they were like, "Okay, we're getting ready to leave, so just grab something and run out the door." And the only thing I could grab was the goldfish food. Like it was right there. I was like, "Okay, I'll grab the goldfish food." Like this is funny.
You monster.
Everybody looked at me like I was a fucking monster. I was like...
Trying to kill fish?
They're like, dude, they got to feed their fish. And I'm like, I don't know the rules to this game. You just said grab something and run out the door. Anyways, I just thought I would relate to that a little bit. Go ahead and continue your story.
Okay. Thor's brow lowered. Sif's hair was her glory. People will think that her head was shaved for punishment, that she did something she should have not done, did it with someone she should have not.
Sex stuff.
Well, yes, there is that, said Loki. They will probably think that, and unfortunately, given that I took her hair from the roots, she will go through the rest of her life completely bald.
Oh, shit.
What a cunt. No, she won't. Thor looked up at Loki, whom he was now holding far above his head, with his face like thunder. Wait, what? With
His face like thunder. Looked like thunder. That's how angry he was.
Bro, thunder's a sound. It doesn't have a look.
Thanks, Niel. You piece of shit.
What a dumb face like thunder. Ugh. I'm afraid she will. But there will always be hats and scarves. She won't go through her life bald, said Thor, because Loki, Lafferty's son, if you do not put her hair back right now, I'm going to break every single bone in your body. Each and every one of them. And if her hair does not grow properly, I will come back and break each and every bone in your body again and again. If I do it every day, I'll soon get really good at it, he carried on. Sounding slightly more cheerful. No, said Loki. I could put her hair back. It doesn't work like that. I can't put her hair back. It doesn't work like that. Today, mused Thor, it will probably take about an hour to break every bone in your body. But I bet that with practice, I could get it down to about 15 minutes.
Shit.
It would be interesting to find out. He started to break his first bone. What the fuck? It's italicized, so it's hard to read. Dwarves! Shrieked Loki. Pardon? Dwarves! They can make anything. They could make golden hair for Sif, hair that would bond to her scalp and grow normally. Perfect golden hair. They could do it, I swear they could. Then, said Thor, you had better go talk to them. And dropped Loki from high above his head onto the floor. Loki clambered to his feet and hurried away before Thor could break any more bones.
Oh, brothers. Oh, brothers.
He just starts breaking bones. He put his shoes on that let him travel through the sky and went to Svartalfheim.
Svartalheim.
Svartalheim. He went to Svartalheim, where the dwarves have their workshops. The most ingenious craftsmen of them all he decided were the three dwarves known as the sons of Ivaldi. Loki went to their underground forge. Hello, sons of Ivaldi. I've asked around, and the people here tell me that Brock, Eitri, his brother, and Eitri, his brother, are the greatest dwarf craftsmen that have ever been, said Loki. No, said one of the sons of Ivaldi. It is us. We are the greatest craftsmen there are. I assume that Brock and Eitri can make the treasures as good as those you can. Lies, said the tallest of the sons of Ivaldi. I wouldn't trust those fumble-fingered incompetents to shoe a horse. The smallest and the wisest of the sons of Ivaldi simply shrugged. Whatever they make, we could do better. I hear that they've challenged you, said Loki. 3 treasures. The gods of Aesir will judge who make the best treasure. Oh, and by the way, one of the treasures you can make needs to be hair. Ever-growing, perfect golden hair. We can do that, said one of the sons of Ivaldi. Even Loki could barely tell them apart. Loki went across the mountain to see the dwarf called Brock. At the workshop, he shared with his brother, Eitri. Ivaldi's sons are making 3 treasures as gifts to the gods of Asgard, said Loki. The gods are going to judge the 3 treasures Ivaldi's sons want me to tell you that they are certain you and your brother Eitri can't make anything as good as they can. They called you fumble-fingered incompetence. Brock was no fool. This stuff smells extremely fishy, Loki, he said. Are you sure this isn't your doing? Stirring up trouble between Eitri and me and Ivaldi's boys seems like the sort of thing you'd do. Loki looked as guileless as he could, which was amazingly guileless. Nothing to do with me, he said innocently. I thought you ought to know. And now you have no personal stake in this, said Brock. None whatsoever. Brock nodded and looked up at Loki. Brock's brother Eitri was the great craftsman. But Brock was the smartest of the two, and more determined. Well, then we could be happy to take the sons of Ivaldi to the test of skill, to be judged by the gods. Because I have no doubt Eitri can forge better and craftier things than Ivaldi's lot. But let's make this personal, Loki. Eh? What do you have in mind? Asked Loki. Your head, said Brock. If I win the contest, I get your head, Loki. There's lots of things going on in there, that head of yours. I have no doubt Eitri could make a wonderful device out of it. A thinking machine, perhaps. Or an inkwell. Loki kept smiling. He scowled on the inside. The day had started out so well. Still, he simply had to ensure that Eitri and Brock lost the contest. The gods would still get 6 wonderful things from the dwarves, and Sif would have her golden hair. He could do that. He was Loki. Of course, my head, no problem. Across the mountain, the sons of Ivaldi were making their treasures. Loki was worried about them, but he needed to make sure that Brock and Eitri did not, could not, possibly win. Brock and Eitri entered the forge. It was dark in there.
A little itch.
A little itch.
Yeah, itch it.
Just gotta get a little itch, everybody.
Yeah,
a little itch.
Itch it.
We'll itch it. Ugh. Okay. Where are we? Okay. Brock and Eitri entered the forge. It was dark in there, lit only by the orange glow of burning charcoal. Eitri took a pigskin from the shelf and placed it on into the forge. I've been keeping this pigskin for something like this, he said. Brock just nodded. Right, said Eitri. You work the bellows. Brock just kept pumping them. I need this hot. I need it constantly hot, otherwise it won't work. Pump, pump. Brock began to pump the bellows, sending a stream of oxygen-rich air into the forge, heating everything up. He had done it many times before. Eitri watched until he was satisfied that it would be to his liking. Eitri left to work on his creation outside the forge. As he opened the door to go out, a large black insect flew in. It was not a horsefly, and it was not a deer fly. It was bigger than either. It flew, circled in the room in a malicious way. Brock could hear the sound of Eitri's hammer outside the forge. That was the sound of filing and twisting, sharpening and banging. The large black fly was the biggest, blackest fly.
This fly was black, yo. It was black as shit.
The biggest, blackest fly you've ever seen. Landed on the back of Brock's hand.
I was watching a movie on the internet. Saw a pretty big black fly.
Mm-hmm.
Just gonna throw that out there.
Every once in a while, I like to watch big black fly porn on X videos. You know, it's just like, I want to see a big black fly. Give it to a white chick.
Man, it's pretty amazing.
Both of Brock's hands were on the bellows. He did not stop pumping to swat the fly. The fly bit Brock hard on the back of the hand. Brock kept pumping. The door opened, and Eitri came in and carefully pulled the work from the forge. It appeared to be a huge boar with bristles gleaming gold. Good work, said Eitri. A fraction of a degree warmer or cooler, and the whole thing would have been a waste of our time. Good work to you, said Brock. The black fly up on the corner of the ceiling seethed with resentment and irritation. Eitri took the block of gold and placed it on the forge. Right, he said. The next one will impress them when I start pumping the bellows. And whatever happens, do not slow down, or speed up, or stop. There's fiddly work involved. Got it, said Brock. Eitri left the room and began to work. Brock waited until he heard Eitri's call and started to pump the bellows. The black fly circled the room thoughtfully, then landed on Brock's neck. The insect stepped daintily to avoid the rivulets of sweat, for the air was hot this close to the forge. It bit Brock's neck as hard as it could. Scarlet blood joined the sweat on Brock's neck, but the dwarf did not stop pumping. Eitri returned. He removed a white-hot arm ring from the forge. He dropped it into the stone cooling pool of the forge to quench it. There was a cloud of steam as the arm ring fell into the water. The ring cooled, moving rapidly to orange to red-hot, and then, as it cooled, to gold. It's a Drop near.
Yeah, drop near sounds pretty good. Your phonics is pretty fantastic.
It's a drop near, said Eitri.
Your talking's not good, but you have like good phonetic skills.
Fuck you. The Dripper? That's a funny name for a ring, said Brock. No. Not for this one, said Eitri, as he explained to Brock what was so special about this arm ring. Hey, we're trying to do something here. If you two could just settle the fuck down.
Good point. Good point.
Trying to read.
Rocco, don't come over here and fart. I'm not into it.
Stop. Go away. Go lay down. Go. Kya.
Kah!
Get.
Kah, dogs!
Go away.
Kah!
Okay.
Okay.
Fucking dogs.
Fucking dogs. Drop near. It's no ordinary ring.
Okay. The Dripper, that's a funny name for the ring, said Brock. Not for this one, said Eitri, as he explained to Brock that was so very special about this arm ring. Now, Eitri, there's something that I've had in mind to make for a very long time now. My masterwork.
Mjolnir.
But it's even trickier than the other two. So what you have to do is pump and don't stop pumping, said Brock.
God, this guy loves to be pumped.
That's right, said Eitri. Even more than before. Do not change your pace, or the whole thing will be ruined. Eitri picked up an ingot of pig iron, bigger than the ingot that the black fly, who was Loki, had ever seen before, and hefted into the forge. He left the room and called to Brock to begin pumping. Brock began to pump, and the sound of Eitri's hammer began as Eitri pulled back the shape, welded and joined. Which I have to say, the forge weld, the initial like seating of metal to metal.
Yeah.
Go watch it on YouTube, everybody. It's real satisfying. Okay.
Did it make you come?
I've come several times to metal being forge welded into like Damascus steel.
Would you say you're metal sexual?
Yeah. 100%. 100% a metal sexual. I support the LGBTQM lifestyle.
Would you say that you currently identify as a nut that's just looking to be screwed by a bolt?
I've given myself the secondary foreskin cut to signify my metal sexualism.
Okay. Have you threaded your cock at this point so you can like screw nuts onto it?
I'm getting there. I'm working on it.
That's pretty cool.
Okay,
I was gonna make fun of you for all this
stages,
but honestly, it's pretty cool.
I mean,
it's pretty cool.
Who doesn't want to screw a 1.5 inch, coarse thread nut under their cock?
I don't want to do that. That sounds terrible.
I mean, to each their own.
It sounds pinchy.
To each their own.
It sounds slicey. It's a very sensitive part of my body.
Me and Eitri,
listen,
we get down differently.
Dwarfs fuck differently.
We do things different.
Us gods, us Norse gods, that's what we have dwarfs for.
All right. Loki, in fly shape, decided there was no more time for subtlety. Eitri's masterpiece would be something that would impress the gods, and if the gods were impressed enough, then he would lose his head. Loki landed between Brock's eyes and started to bite the dwarf's eyelids. The dwarf continued to pump, his eyes stinging. Loki bit deeper, harder, more desperately. Now blood ran from the dwarf's head and eyelids. Now blood ran from the dwarf's eyelids, into his eyes, down his face, blinding him. Brock squinted and shook his head, trying to dislodge the fly. He jerked his head from side to side, contorted his mouth, and tried blowing air up at the fly. It was no good. The fly continued to bite. The dwarf could see nothing but blood, a sharp pain filling his head. Brock counted, and the bottom of the downstroke, and he whipped one of his hands from the bellows and swiped the fly with such speed and strength that Loki could barely escape with his life. Brock grabbed the bellows once again and continued to pump. Enough! Called Eitri. The black fly flew unsteadily about the room. Eitri opened the door, allowing the fly to escape. Eitri looked at his brother with disappointment. Brock's face was a mess of blood and sweat. I don't know what you were playing at that time, said Eitri, but you came close to ruining everything. The temperature was all over the place at the end, and it is nowhere near as impressive as I'd hoped. We'll just have to see. Loki and the shape strolled through the open door. So, all ready for the contest? He asked. What a prick. Brock can go to Asgard and present my gifts to the gods and cut off your head, said Eitri. I like it best here at my forge, making things. Brock stared at Loki through swollen eyelids. I'm looking forward to cutting off your head, said Brock. It got personal. So he knew. They know. Right. Brock knows that Loki is the fly.
How is it that, like, oh, you've challenged us to build these things, and as we're doing it, all of a sudden a fly starts biting the shit out of me, and I'm fucking
giant
bleeding.
Fucking fly.
The biggest fly I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah.
Literally Lord of the Flies.
Gross. Yuck. Don't do impressions.
Literally Lord of the Flies.
Leave
everybody.
the impressions to me, all right? I'm the impression guy around here.
But you're really, really bad at it.
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good at all the impressions I do.
Perfect.
Fuck. Oh,
Okay.
Turned my stomach.
In Asgard, 3 gods sat on the thrones. One-eyed Odin, the Allfather, red-bearded Thor of the thunders, and handsome Freya of the summer's harvest. They would be the judges. Loki stood before them, besides the 3 almost identical sons of Ivaldi. Brock, black-bearded and brooding, was there alone. Standing on one side, the things he had brought in hidden beneath sheets. So, said Odin, what are we judging? Treasures. Hey!
Chill.
Stop! God damn it.
DJ Tanner. Costco
Every
simple
time.
like a motherfucker.
Ugh. Every time. There was nothing. Nothing happened. Just random.
Listen, sometimes you see ghosts.
I just support bark collars. That's what I support. Anyway.
I want a bark collar for myself.
I want a bark collar for 90% of the American public.
That would be fun.
Yeah. Definitely one for the president. Like, the president needs a bark collar.
Listen, I don't get into politics on this podcast. You know that.
The president needs a bark collar.
And
Hashtag send the president a
I
bark
think that
collar.
the Secret Service would have an issue with saying that you want to electrocute our president every time he talks.
I didn't say that. I can be one of those ones that just like poofs like a citronella in his face. It just a little negative reinforcement for when the president, like, I don't know, sexually harasses the Prime Minister of Great Britain or the Prime Minister of fucking Germany, whatever the fuck that lady's called.
Angela Merkel.
No, are they prime ministers in Germany?
She's the chancellor.
Chancellor.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew her name. I don't know the British lady's name.
Yeah, Germany has a chancellor, and I believe they also have a prime minister as well.
Well, Mr.
So
Mr. Spray Tan was not nice to either.
yeah, he's not a nice person.
No,
Nice people don't get shit done, Bill.
they don't.
Okay.
Okay, so what are we judging? Treasures, said Loki. The sons of Ivaldi have made gifts for you, great Odin, and for Thor, and for Freya. And so have Idri and Brock. It is up to you to decide which of these 6 things is the finest treasure. I myself will show you the gifts made by the sons of Ivaldi. He presented Odin with the spear called Gungnir, which was a beautiful spear carved with intricate ruins. He presented Odin. It will penetrate anything, and when you throw it, it will always find its mark, said Loki. Odin had but one eye, after all, and sometimes his aim could be less than perfect. And just as important as an oath taken on the spear is unbreakable. Unbreakable oath spear.
Know some people would like to get their hands on that.
Yep. Odin hefted the spear. It's very fine, was all he said. And here, said Loki proudly, is a flowing head of golden hair, made of real gold. It will attach itself onto the head of the person who needs it and grow and behave in every way as if it were real hair. 100,000 strands of gold. I will test it, said Thor. Sif, come here. Sif rose and came to the front, her head covered. She then removed her headscarf. The gods gasped when they saw Sif's naked head, bald and pink, and then she carefully placed the dwarf's golden wig on her head and shook her head of hair. They watched as the base of the wig joined itself to her scalp, and Sif stood in front of them, even more radiant and beautiful than before. Impressive, said Thor. Good job. Sif tossed her golden hair and walked out of the hall into the sunlight to show her new hair to her friends. The last of the sons of Ivaldi's remarkable gifts was small and folded like cloth. This cloth Loki placed in front of Freya. What is it? It looks like a small silk scarf, said Freya, unimpressed. It does, said Loki, but if you unfold it, you will discover it is a ship called... Skidbaldnir.
Sure.
Skidbaldnir.
Skidbaldnir. Skidbaldnir. Yep. Skidbaldnir.
It will always have a fair wind wherever it goes, and although it is huge, the largest ship you can imagine, it will fold up and you can see it like a cloth, so you can put it into your pouch. Freya was unimpressed, and Loki reviled it. They were 3 excellent gifts. Now was Brock's turn. His eyelids were red and swollen. There was huge insect bites on the inside of his neck. Loki thought Brock looked like entirely too cocky, especially given the remarkable things Ivaldi's sons had made. Brock took the golden arm ring and placed it in front of Odin on his high throne. This arm ring is called Dropnir, said Brock, because every 9th night, 8 gold arm rings of equal beauty will drip from it. You can reward people with them or store them, and your wealth will increase. Odin examined the arm ring, then pushing it onto his arm, up high on his bicep, it gleamed there. It is very fine, he said. Loki recalled that Odin said something about the spear. Said the same thing about the spear. Brock walked over to Freya. He raised a cloth and revealed a huge boar with bristles made of gold. This is a boar my brother made for you to pull your chariot, said Brock. It will race across the sky and over the sea, faster than a horse. There will never be a night so dark that its golden bristles will not give light and let you see what you are doing. It will never tire, it will never fail you. It is called Gullinbursti, the golden bristled one. You want to read that?
Yeah.
Gullinbursti.
Golden Bursty. Let's go with it. Golden bristles. Fucking rocket.
Freya looked impressed. Still, thought Loki, the magical ship that folded up like a cloth was every bit as impressive as an unstoppable boar that shone in the dark. Loki's head was quite safe. And the last gift Brock had to present was to the one Loki knew he had already managed to sabotage. From beneath the cloth, Brock produced a hammer in front of Thor. Thor looked at it and sniffed. The handle is rather short, he said. Brock nodded. Yes, he said. This was my fault. I was working the bellows. But before you dismiss it, let me tell you about what makes this hammer unique. It is called Mjolnir, the lightning maker. First of all, it's unbreakable. It doesn't matter how hard you hit something with it, the hammer will always be undamaged. Thor looked interested. He had already broken many a great weapon over the years, normally by hitting things with them.
It's usually how it happens.
If you throw the hammer, it will never miss what you throw it at. Thor looked even more interested. He had lost a number of otherwise excellent weapons by throwing them at things that irritated him and missing. And he had watched too many weapons that he had thrown disappear into the distance to never be seen again. No matter how hard or far you throw it, it will always return to your hand. Thor was now actually smiling. The thunder god did not often smile. You can change the size of the hammer. It will grow and it will also shrink down so small, if you wish, that you can hide it inside your shirt. Thor clapped his hands together in delight, and a thunder echoed across Asgard. And yet, as you have observed, concluded Brock sadly, the handle of the hammer is indeed quite too short. This is my fault. I failed to keep the bellows blowing while my brother Eitri was forging it. The shortness of the handle is a minor cosmetic problem, said Thor. This hammer will protect us from the frost giants. This is the finest gift I have ever seen. It will protect Asgard. It will protect all of us, said Odin with approval. If I were a giant, I would have been very afraid of Thor if he had that hammer, said Freya. Yes, it is an excellent hammer. But Thor, what about the hair? Sif's beautiful new golden hair, asked Loki, slightly desperately. What? Oh yes, my hair. My wife has very nice hair, said Thor. Now, show me how to make the hammer grow and shrink, Brock. Thor's hammer is even better than my wonderful spear and my excellent arm ring, said Odin, nodding. The hammer is greater and more impressive than my ship and my boar, admitted Freya. It will keep the gods of Asgard safe. The gods clapped Brock on the back and told him that he and Eitri had made the finest gift that they had ever been given. Good to know, said Brock. He turned to Loki. So, to cut off your head. Laufey's son? Laufey.
Sure.
You had to cut off your head, Laufey's son, and take it back with me. You two will be so pleased. We can turn it into something useful. I will ransom my head, said Loki. I have treasures I can give you. Eitri and I have already have all the treasure we need. We make treasures. No, Loki. I want your head. Loki thought for a moment, then said, Then you can have it, if you can catch me. And Loki leaps high into the air and ran off. Far above their heads, and in moments he was gone. Brock looked at Thor. Can you catch him? Thor shrugged. I really shouldn't, he said. But then I wouldn't. But then I would very much like to try out my hammer. In moments, Thor returned with Loki. Loki was glaring it says impotent.
Impotent.
But I think it should be impudent. That's impotent.
Impotent.
Impotent?
It doesn't just mean
Impudent?
It doesn't just mean you
That's
can't
not a
get your
different
dick
word?
up. Same word.
Is it?
Unable to take effective action, helpless or powerless.
Impudent. Okay.
Impotent.
Impotent?
Yeah. Second is abnormally unable to achieve a sexual erection. So impotence was.
I was reading that completely wrong.
You're reading it wrong?
Yeah. I thought it was supposed to, like, it's just a different, like, it has a different connotation to the word, like impudent or impotent.
Right. No. Yeah. Impotent.
So it should be, he was like, yeah. Right? No.
Yeah. It's the right word.
Impotent fury. Anyway.
Unable to take effective action, helpless or powerless.
Yeah. The dwarf Brock took out his knife. Come here, Loki, he said. I'm going to cut off your head. Of course, said Loki. You can, of course, cut off my head. But, and I appeal to Almighty Odin here, if you can cut off my head, if you cut off any of my neck, you are violating the terms of our agreement, which is promised to you my head, and my head only. Odin inclined his head. Loki is right. You have no right to cut his neck.
It's some real legalese there.
Brock was irritated. But if I can't cut off his head without cutting his neck, he said. Loki looked pleased with himself. You see, he said, if people thought through the exactness of their words, they would not dare take on Loki, the wisest, the cleverest, the trickiest, the most intelligent, the best looking. Brock whispered a suggestion to Odin. That would be fair, Odin agreed. Brock produced a strip of leather and a knife. He wrapped the leather around Loki's mouth. Brock tied a piece of the leather to the tip of the knife blade. It's not working, said Brock. My knife isn't cutting you. What? Do you understand that?
Continue.
Brock produced a strip of leather,
Right.
leather and a knife.
Mm-hmm.
He wrapped the leather around Loki's mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Brock tried
Wrapped it around his mouth.
tried to pierce the leather with the tip of the knife blade. Okay, that's what I missed.
Okay.
It's not working, said Brock. My knife isn't cutting you. I might have wisely arranged for your protection from knife blades, said Loki modestly. Just in case the whole "you can't cut my neck" ploy didn't work. I'm afraid no knife blade can cut me. Brock grunted and produced an awl, a pointed spike used in leatherwork. He jabbed through the leather, punching holes through Loki's lips. Then he took a strong thread and sewed Loki's lips together. Brock walked away, leaving Loki with his mouth sewn up tight, unable to complain. For Loki, the pain of being unable to talk hurt even more than the pain of having his lips stitched into the leather. So now you know how it is that the gods got their greatest treasure. It was Loki's fault. Even Thor's hammer was Loki's fault. That was the thing about Loki. You resented him even when you were at your most grateful, and you were grateful to him when you hated him the most.
Oh, Loki, you trickster.
I'm so bad at reading, everybody. I'm so sorry. This is why I use audible.com to read all my books.
Hysterical.
Because I can't.
So funny.
So if you're an illiterate college dropout, such as myself, check out Audible.
Oh, fuck.
And pick up Neil Gaiman's Norse Gods, because the dude who reads it on there, he makes it way better.
Is it Neil Gaiman?
No.
Oh.
I don't know who it is.
Wow.
It's definitely not Roy Dotrice, who read the Game of Thrones books to me and is my dad now.
I thought I was your dad now.
Nope. You're dead.
I'm reading you Patrick Rothfuss, The Name of the Wind, fantastically, I might add.
Actually, you're doing a really good job.
Thank you.
Name of the Wind. Catch that on Matt's reads, because he's way better at reading. Next time, we're going to record my reading first to see if it gets any better, though, when I'm not drunk. So
Yeah, your reading's much better when you're not drunk.
Yeah.
It's phenomenally better when you're not drunk.
Is it funnier when it is? Or is it sadder?
It's back and forth. It's back and forth between feeling bad for you and laughing at your misfortune. So, you know.
That's what I was going for.
Yeah, no.
That's exactly what I was going for.
If you were going for it, fucking nailed it.
Nailed
bro.
it!
Fucking nailed it.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Grab this book. Grab other books. Don't go outside.
You can go outside.
Yeah, well, stay away from other people.
Wear a mask. You're fine.
Wear a mask, definitely.
Yeah.
Stay away from other people, too.
If you need to fuck, you gotta fuck.
Jerkmate, come on. Like, hire a porn star. She'll do what you want.
Hire a porn star to come over to my house and fuck me, I hope.
No. She just, you tell her what to do with another guy. You don't gotta be there.
That's
very clean.
Some real cuck shit.
It's very clean.
That's some real cuck shit that
You don't gotta get dirty. You can jerk off with antiseptic. Oh, it's good.
You've become a germaphobe, I see.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know.
Meat sweats.
Meat sweats. Motherfucking meat sweats. Meat sweats.